today I went back all the way to August 2017 for my reading from the Science of Mind. And it's called Live for Today. If you worry about what might be and wonder what might have been, you will ignore what is. And that's by someone called Anonymous. And from the Science of Mind, page 246, I love my past and my future and understand that they are but continuations of the one unbroken chain of life. Our life is unfolding in the present. Yet so often we spend our time worrying about the future or regretting the past. Ernest Holmes teaches us that we are not constantly living a new life, that we are constantly living a new life, and when the old and new do not nicely fit together, the old should be disregarded. He taught that we should stay open at the top because there will always be new revelations of old truths. That doesn't mean we throw out the good and the past and what the past has to offer, but we convert it to a greater good. There's a wonderful Zen story about two monks walking on a trail, and they come to a fast-moving river. A young woman is standing there weeping because she's afraid to cross it. The older monk picks her up and carries her across. Hours later, the younger monk begins to scold the older monk because he touched a woman, which is forbidden in their order. The older monk replies, I put her down hours ago, but you are still carrying her. Think about the times you may have carried an incident from the past into the present. When we do, we create our own prison and see ourselves as victims rather than the powerful beings we are. What issue are you carrying that needs to be left by the river? And the affirmation is, today I focus my life as it is unfolding. I focus on my life as it is unfolding. I release all thoughts of guilt and shame from my past. I know my life is unfolding in divine perfection. And so it is. And the other thing that I wanted to add to this is something that my dear friend Connie gave me years ago, and I have it every Sunday and it's in your writing still from the piece of paper that you put it on. And it's what compassionate communication is all about. Whenever you open your mouth to say something, think about this. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? And today I'm going to reverse a little bit. I'm not going to do our meditation right now. I'm going to do it after my talk. Because my talk is going to lead you into what I'm going to lead the meditation in. And I was guided as I was coming in this morning to do that. So as you know, I go with the flow when it comes to that. So as most of you know that have been with me for a while, I like to start with a
joke.
Yes. So, an 85-year-old couple, having been married almost 60 years, died in a car crash. They had been in good health the last 10 years, mainly due to her interest in health food and exercise. When they reached the pearly gates, St. Peter took them to their mansion, which was decked out with a beautiful kitchen and master bath suite and jacuzzi and all sorts of luxuries. As they oohed and awed, the old man asked Peter how much all this was going to cost. It's free, St. Peter replied. This is heaven. Next, they went out back to survey the championship golf course that the home backed up to. They would have golf privileges every day, and each week the course changed to a new one, representing the great golf courses on earth. The old man asked, what are the green fees? St. Peter said, this is heaven. It's free. Next, they went to the clubhouse and saw the lavish buffet lunch with the cuisines of the world laid out. How much is it to eat, said the old man. Don't you get it yet? Said St. Peter. This is heaven. Everything's free. Well, where are the low-fat and low-cholesterol tables? The old man asked timidly. And I would add gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free. St. Peter lectured, that's the best part. You can eat as much as you like and whatever you like, and you never get fat and you never get sick. This is heaven. After hearing that, the old man went into a fit of temper, throwing down his hat and stomping on it and shrieking wildly. And St. Peter and the wife both tried to calm him down. And then the old man said, whoops, this is all your fault, to his wife. If it weren't for your bran muffins, I could have been here 10 years ago.
It's probably true, too.
You know, I mean, let's think about it, right? So, this idea of the fall is about bringing in the harvest. And one of the things that, of course, I'm contemplating as I look at my next steps in my ministry and my teaching is all the things that have gone before that are coming to fruition. And this idea that your today is sum total of all that's gone before you, not only in this life, but in prior lives, is really what real magic is all about. I believe in magic. Do you?
Yes.
I believe that there is an unseen world that we are privy to. And this time of year, the veils between that world and this get very thin. And we begin to have seep through into our consciousness some ideas that might be lingering in the back that you haven't allowed to come forward yet. Because, you know, we're living in a time like no other, where the quantum is used as a descriptive word in many areas, in thinking, quantum leaps. Those of us that have been in the New Thought movement for a long time, and I'm thinking, let's see, I was 19 when I first discovered the wisdom teachings, and I went to a wisdom school, and I had all sorts of wonderful adventures over the last 40-some years of my life. And it's like, wow, there really is a lot of magic in the world. And guess who's in charge of it? Me. I'm in charge for seeing the wonderful, exciting magic that's a part of our lives. And when I don't see it, I see ugly, and I see negative, and I get in victim consciousness, and I get in criticism, and I get in judgment, and I whine. And it's like, why would I do that to myself when there's so much magic around me? Why do we do that to ourselves? Because at our core sometimes, I think, at least for me, that we think we're not good enough. We think that we don't deserve it. We think that other people might deserve it, but we don't, because, I don't know about you, but I was raised Catholic. I was raised a sinner. What is sin but self-inflicted nonsense? Sin really doesn't exist. Sin is what we look at and say, wait a minute, that's illusion. I am a divine, perfect child of the creative force of the universe. Whatever I go through is exactly what I'm supposed to be going through, and I see beyond the illusion of not being good enough. Now, you put into that another aspect of yourself, and that is needing the approval of other people. Now, I know I don't have any of that problem. I'm sure you don't either. It's just out there. But this idea that we allowed ourselves to be spoon-fed essence of other people's truth about who we are, about the state of the nation, the state of the world, the state of religion, the state of this and that and the other, is also self-inflicted nonsense. Now, there's the sin, is that we don't see the perfection of everything that happens in our lives. Now, I also have no control issues, so I don't try to orchestrate my life either.
Excuse me.
The nose gets longer and longer and longer. No. You know, think about this, folks. We go through our lives, and we have all of these shoulda, woulda, couldas. And I was doing a counseling session with a couple the other night, and I said, don't should on yourself.
That's exactly right.
Don't should on yourself. Let's say that. Don't should on yourself. Take it out. I should do this. No. As a wise one called Yoda once said from the Star Wars trilogies, either you do or you do not. There is no try, there is no should. Are they Star Wars kids? No, not yet. You are. I know Cameron is, right? So the idea is that we are surrounded by this unseen world, a world that existed before the dawn of time, and remembered mostly through myth and legend. But as a wise master, Joseph Campbell, brought to our knowledge many years ago, is the hero's journey, the mythic journey, is each one of our journeys. And so children know this innately. And when we were all children, we still have children, those children deep inside of us. And the night I was ordained, my mother and dad wrote me a letter. And I still have it on the wall of my office at home. And it talked about how they should have known that I was going to do something like that because I grew up surrounded by the unseen. I saw fairies, and I saw angels, and I actually saw some other entities that I later found out who they were as I studied along the way. And for me, as this fey little child, the veils between the worlds were very thin. And I was able to see, and didn't understand why kids were mean to each other. Why can't everybody be nice? And I'm telling you right now that as a 65-year-old woman, I still say that to myself. Why can't everybody be nice? Treat one another with love and compassion and allow themselves to be perfect in their imperfection. Because if we weren't imperfect beings, we wouldn't have anything to strive for. We wouldn't have anything to look at and change and see through. One of the issues that we may have is this world always has existed, but we were taught it didn't. Has anyone ever heard about the island of Skerry, Skerry, where the cliff birds forgot they could fly? And they're on the cliff, they have wings, they can fly, but they forgot. We forgot. We have forgotten that we can actually, we have forgotten that we can fly. And part of the reason is we came in here with a plan and a purpose to see through illusion. But one of the things we also say is we've forgotten that this magic and miracles that should be a part of our daily life has been beaten out of us sometimes. Have you felt like it's been beaten out of you by daily words and daily thoughts and daily actions and the world that says shoulda, woulda, coulda on you? One of the issues here is karma. The idea that we came in with a plan and a purpose. We came in to balance energies. And let's back up a little bit. What is karma? When I first found these teachings, I was 19 years old, like I said. I was actually in summer school at UNCC. And in those days, I loved romantic Gothic novels. Now, I don't know if anyone even knows what those are anymore. But those were my go-to.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You know, group of people meet in a scary castle at night. And there's this wonderful, gorgeous man. Dark, silent. And this beautiful young girl falls in love with him. Blah, 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 blah. So I was reading one of these during summer school. It's called Green Darkness by Anya Seton. And there was this group of people in this dark, scary castle in the hillsides of England. And the premise of the book was they had all been together before, and they were working through karma. I had never heard of this before. I had been raised Catholic. And it struck me like a ton of bricks, and I ran to the card catalog the next day. And I looked up karma and reincarnation, and I discovered the Theosophical teachings, the Theosophical Society, and I wrote them because, I didn't even have a typewriter at that point. Hand wrote them a note, Theosophical Society in Wheaton, Illinois, and they sent me a book by Helena Blavatsky called What is Theosophy? Now, Blavatsky was one of many teachers around the Victorian times in the early 20s, 30s, 40s that had brought forward a body of teachings called the ancient, or as we call it now, ageless wisdom teachings. And explained to me a lot of things that to me were the key between science and religion. Of course we don't have one lifetime to become spiritual and perfect. God is much more loving than that. And of course God's not a man. God is. Father, Mother, God, we call it sometimes in New Thought movement. Creator, universe, first cause, spirit. We don't make it into a man or a woman because it's an energy within each one of us. It's in our DNA. It's our divine heritage. And so I found this idea of karma. And then when I, years later, was led to a seminary that actually taught about this stuff, I learned about karma is not anything about you did 60 pounds of bad and you're going to get 60 pounds of bad back. No. Karma is about balancing energy. And there's another part of karma called dharma. And dharma is the grace and the gifts that you bring forward from good deeds that you've done maybe yesterday or maybe in a past life. Because past lives, for me, in my experience, my experience being I am a past life regressionist, and I took past life, I did past life. It's about the idea that of the continuity of the soul. We continue. The energy of who we are continues. It's like that movie, Cocoon. How many people saw that movie, Cocoon, right? Remember the aliens, they took off their bodies and inside was their light body? That's what we do. That's wisdom teachings right there. You shed one body, when you're done with it, your light goes into the heavens, into the ethers, and then you come back and you put another body and continue and go forward. Each time, better and better. Each time, more godlike than you were before. And so, this idea of karma can also be released. One of the things I've learned, and this is to me real magic, is the power of intention, and that you can actually cleanse karma away with 5 different things to do. One is to be grateful for the experiences that you are having. Realize that everything is happening for a reason. And not to judge it as right, wrong, bad, or indifferent, but to say, thank you, let me pull back and look what I can learn from this experience in my life. The second is that we act with love, going back to the idea of compassionate communication again. Is it, where's my paper? Because I'm in my lap right now and I can't get it. Here it is. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? The third is check your motives. Before you say something to someone, what is your intent and motivation?
Yes.
And we're going to say something about that in a minute, more about that. Watch your attitude. We're going into a time of gratitude right now, right? With Thanksgiving, bringing in the harvest, an attitude of gratitude creates a space for grace. So when you look at your attitude about something, Are you judging it according to your standards? Or are you judging it according to your parents' standards? According to your racial standards? According to your spiritual standards? Let's not judge it at all, shall we? And the other one, of course, is forgiveness. Oh my goodness. It is so hard to forgive and forget, isn't it? We can work on it. Let me ask you this, do we really need to forget? We really don't, do we? What we do is we reframe it as a lesson learned.
Exactly.
So that forgive and forget isn't real user-friendly. It's the idea of we release it, we let it go, and we look at the lesson it afforded us. That's what it's about. See, everything that happens to us in our life is about learning our divine nature. Everything. But we are also human beings. And we forget. And that's why it's important to find a group of people that can love you and support you and be with you through your journey of finding out and rediscovering your divinity. Very important. And as a member of whatever groups you are in, always know that the group rises to the highest energetic value of the people in it. Be that higher value.
Absolutely.
Allow your brothers and sisters to bask in the glory of your divineness. That's our job.
That's a good one.
And it's a good job. Never allow yourself to be pulled down, even into your own stuff. Allow yourself to rise up and be a part. Some of you know that I was privileged to study with Carolyn Mace years ago, who wrote Anatomy of the Spirit. And this is what she taught us, was to pull back from everything that's happening. First, from your own life, then from the life of the community around you, then from your country, then from the world, and look at what the archetype is. What is this about? And you will be surprised to know that it's all the same archetype. Right now, we're going through some shattering of old stuff and old energies. The old Piscean, in control, sacrifice to make perfect. That's old stuff. Fundamentalism of any kind, and I'm going to tell you, there is New Thought fundamentalism too.
Yeah.
Whenever you say to yourself, this is the only way, you are becoming a fundamentalist.
That's right.
And so allow yourself to keep pulling back and seeing that this may be your reality yesterday or even today, but it's going to change tomorrow because you're going to allow it to be fluid. I'm going to tell you this. For years now, I've been wanting to start a school. I love to teach. I want to give people the same education and tools I was given from the time I was 19 years old when I found that book, right? To when I went to Santa Sophia Seminary, to when I graduated, to when this is my second church that I've led. And I wanted to teach people, though, what I was taught. Because I am a pleaser, because I like people to like me, sometimes I trip myself up and do exactly the opposite so they don't. Now, ain't that a kick in the head? Right? But the idea of real magic is that. Remember that what we think, what we believe, what we say are all processes of manifestation, co-creating. And we also know that that is the basis of real magic. magic has to do with belief, affirmation, and then taking action. You got 2 feet, 2 hands, a mouth, 2 eyes, a mind. All of these allow you to be little Harry Potters or Hermiones or whoever, for those of you that aren't into Harry Potter, or Jedi.
We all need to be into Harry Potter.
We all need to be into Harry Potter. But and see, the kids recognized this when it first came out, didn't they? They knew we were more in our physical bodies. I'll never forget, because I was still in seminary at the time when the first one came out, and one of my advisors came to me with those big, thick books, and he slapped it down and goes, "This is for you because you are Harry Potter. And you need to quit letting the muggles dictate your life." I was like, he was a PhD in education, so I kind of listened to him every once in a while. And I just read through that book ravenously and went, whoa, this is what we're learning in seminary, but with different language. And the idea of real magic, now these 7 steps come from Wayne Dyer's book called Real Magic, right? So if you haven't availed yourself of it, but the first one is there is an invisible but knowable life force within you. Yes?
Yes.
Number 2, your thoughts are something that you control and they originate with you. Yes?
Yes.
There are no limits.
Other than.
Yes?
Yes.
Your life has a purpose.
Yes.
You overcome weaknesses by leaving them behind.
Yes.
When you examine what you believe to be impossible, you can then change your beliefs.
Yes.
Big one. When you examine what you believe to be impossible, you can then change your beliefs. And number 7, you can go beyond logical. Don't be Dr. Spock. It's not logical. Right? It's magic. It's about magic. And I'm reading another book called Real Magic by Dean Radin, who is the president of IONS. And actually, I'm not reading it, I'm listening to it. But he goes through the history of science, religion, magic, and concludes with, yes, magic is real. This is a scientist. He is a scientist. He was very much a part of the secret in the quantum field being identified. And he talks about the idea that we're living in a time of synthesis. And this is exactly what the Golden Quest Mystery School is about. It's about taking all that's come before us, science, religion, wisdom teachings, and creating a new truth. And the truth is, magic is real.
Yes.
What's the name of that book?
Real Magic.
By who?
Dean Radin, R-A-D-I-N. And what I love about this is it goes back to the idea that most of the great scientists have been students of the wisdom teachings, including Albert Einstein.
That's right.
Einstein, when he passed away, his niece found a book by Helena Blavatsky,
Yep.
mentioned earlier, called The Secret Doctrine, which is also a core of the teachings that I'm doing in the school. And in the margins, much dog-eared, much written in margins, she found the formula, E equals MC squared, because he studied the wisdom teachings.
Yep.
Sir Isaac Newton, who we think of for what? The apple on the head, right? Is that right, Cameron? Mm-hmm. He was also known as the last of the great magicians. Most of the writings that have been found recently were his because he was an alchemist. He studied the wisdom teachings. And yet we see him as a great scientist. So what's happening today is the New Thought movement has taken us into a new realm of thought and acceptance of things that are bigger than religion. However, it has also opened people to the idea that since the dawn of time, the teachings, the truth has been out there. And we have reached a critical mass today that we are ready to study and bring forward the new humanity.
Yes.
That is where we are right now. So don't be a muggle and look at all the stuff that's going on around you as truth. Know that you need to ignore it, allow it to be, allow it to do what it wants to do as the old ways shatter apart. And you focus on being a white magician. Now let me talk to you about real magic. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in the world with witchcraft and spellcraft and dark magic. And there's a lot of stuff being done quietly and in the inner planes with white magic. White magic is about serving humanity. It's about changing the world by surrendering to the highest will of the universe. Dark magic is about controlling individuals, events. Now. Dark magic is about personal gain. Dark magic manipulates and is fear-based because there's not enough for everybody. Whereas white magic is unlimited and full of love and self-sacrifice insofar as releasing expectation and allowing the higher will to guide the lower will. As we come into this new era, which has been called the Age of Aquarius, we also have another energetic that is working with it called the seventh ray. And the seventh ray brings forward ceremony and ritual and magic. And those that work with the higher forces know that this magic is about birthing the next human race. The next human race, which is about mind, which is about thinketh in the heart, which is about loving so much that you release your own needs to the needs of the greater with love and compassion. That's white magic. And I see a lot of nodding going on. You know this innately. You've thought about this. You've explored this. And there are ways and means of allowing yourself to do it and bring it forward. And at the core of all of it is this M word called
Meditation.
meditation. That is high magics. There are different types of meditation, and that's another thing I'm going to be teaching. This, yes, the meditation of relaxing and releasing and visualization is part of building the muscle of the mind. The ultimate goal of meditation is to be the receiver of the next steps of humanity. Is to be quiet and listen and allow the wisdom to come into your mind, into your knowing, into who you are. But before we can allow that to happen, or before that can happen, is this idea that the law of attraction doesn't really work unless you allow your emotions to be balanced. How many people have tried the law of attraction? Okay. All right. Does it work every single time? Why do you think?
Blocks.
Yeah, blocks. The shoulda, woulda, couldas, right? The emotions. The emotions keep you from your mind from truly manifesting. I know this is true because I experience it all the time. when I am cranky, when I am whiny, when I am in victim consciousness, when I am angry, I do not manifest anything but those people in my life that are also whiny and cranky and judgmental and blah, blah, blah. So, what do you need to do in order to release that? One of the things that I know about is this idea of cord cutting, and that's why I wanted to do our meditation afterwards. Because the idea is that there is a nerve in your body called the vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is right here. The vagus nerve is when you feel something negative, unbalanced, and it goes here and it stays there and it goes right to the middle of your mind, and it allows your thoughts to change and say, when this happens, that happens. And so whatever happens in Vegas but not necessarily, but you are in charge. You can change the vagus nerve by allowing yourself to let go of logical thinking, to let go of emotional thinking, and to cut the cords that bind you to that emotion. You know, the Creator didn't say, I can't do that because. And since you and the Creator are one, then you need to allow yourself to connect with the inner source that is you. Most of the cords that we need to cut are here at the seat of the vagus nerve. They're in our solar plexus. They're in our gut. That's where fear resides. But it's also where creativity resides. Between that and the lower chakra. And so as you create a cord cutting, you then allow the energy to come up from your solar plexus and open your heart. And the heart opens the higher chakras, which are the creative energies on the inner plane. So, let's check for a moment as we get ready for meditation some of the ideas that hold you in thrall. What's holding you back? And let us close our eyes and go with it. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself to feel your body within its space. Breathe. Roll your shoulders back. And open your heart. Breathe into your heart fresh, vibrant energy and affirm to yourself, I love and I care. I love and I care. I love and I care. Another breath. And allow yourself to see above your head a ball of golden white light. This light is your soul star. Part of you that is connected to the all that is. And see that light send forth a beam of energy into the top of your head. And allow the light to come down and anchor in your solar plexus. Connecting higher will with lower will. And now take another stream of energy from your soul and bring it down and anchor it in your heart. Breathe. You've connected higher will with heart. And from this point of connection, say to yourself, I am the soul. And also love am I. Above all else, I am. Both will and fixed design. My will is now to lift the lower self into the light divine. That light am I. Therefore I must descend where the lower self awaits my coming. That which desires to live, and that which cries for life, are now at one. Such is my will. And with an act of will, focus on the middle of your forehead, that third eye, the eye that can see so clearly on the airplane. And call to mind a part of you that you know it's time to let go of. Thoughts, feelings, especially emotion. And think for a moment about how it affects your life. And as you do, see a cord coming out from your solar plexus. And put that emotion or thought there. And see it in front of you as a balloon attached to you as a cord. And then, with this intention, for my best and highest good, and to the good of all concerned, I readily release this from my consciousness, from my body, from my emotions, and see a large flaming sword cut it away from you. Do this for the next few moments with any thoughts or feelings that no longer serve you in your perfection. Cut the cords. Release the energy. See in front of you a large violet flame, larger than your own physical body. This is the violet flame of transmutation, which will finish the job of cord cutting by burning away any dross or remnants that remain. And so allow yourself to step into the flame and bathe in it and release any remnants from the physical form that remain of that which no longer serves you. And we see a bit of ash fall away. Now think of your emotional body and those emotions that you want to let go of continually. The emotions you have let go of, and the emotions you still know you want to let go of. And allow the flame to transform and transmute them. And we see a bit of ash fall away. And now thoughts. Think of the mental body, those parts of your thoughts that you are releasing and that you want to transform into pure love. And we see the purple flame, the transmuting flame, the violet flame, burn what's left of what you no longer need. And a bit of ash falls away. And now within the violet flame, you see yourself balanced, harmonized, cleansed, clear. A being of light and love and power. And you step out of the flame, reborn, revitalized. Feel the joy rise up, allowing yourself to be you in all of your perfection. Take a breath. Feel your body within the space. The floor beneath you, the chair beneath you. And send out beams of loving energy to every person in this room, in this group, and out into the world. Allowing your energy to uplift and aid them in their own becoming. And so it is. Now put your hands together, palm to palm in front of your heart, raising them to your third eye, back down again in open palm. And let us say together the Hindu word for peace. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May peace prevail on earth.